All right. Happy Friday. Some people celebrate Friday. I think it's a great day to catch up on some things, but man, there's so much opportunity. It's amazing. It's been a interesting week, to say the least. I hope you guys are having an awesome week so far. This is Douglas J. Beck here, coming to you from Sarasota, Florida. And I do have an ice cream cone on my whiteboard, and I'm proud of that. That's my daughter's work. She was here in the office with my son. My daughter is 9, and my one son is 12. They were here for yesterday for the Bring Your Kid to Work Day. So I got some art behind me now on my whiteboard. So I thought I'd keep that up there for you guys. And so hope you all are doing well. Let me know once you can hear me, and let us know where you're listening from, like city and state. Let us know if you'd like to share kind of what brought you here. You can put that in a comment as well. And then today we're going to talk about, we're not going to have a guest today. We're going to have a conversation and possibly a screen share. I see you, Alicia. How you doing? We're going to do a screen share at some point, I think, if we have the time, which I believe we will, and go through a live deal analysis that we just had in our hot seat yesterday as part of the Growth Collective that I know our clients hopefully enjoyed and got some good value from. I'm going to give you guys the summary version and kind of talk about this particular opportunity that one of our clients brought to us yesterday that she's looking at possibly buying. And we're going to talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly about this deal. So with that being said, get yourself comfortable, get yourself ready to go, grab a pen and paper or a notepad. Today is going to be a little bit different than some of the other conversations we've had, in the sense that we're going to actually go through some numbers and principles and more specificity than maybe what you've seen in the previous weeks. And just want to make sure that my live is still going here. I lost you guys on my screen. Where you at? Uh-oh. I got to find the right, there we go. Facebook, there we go. Huh. Don't ask me about my desktop. It's a little bit crazy at the moment, the number of windows that I have. I have to minimize some things here. Make sure my computer can keep up. Hey, is the audio okay today? Some folks are mentioning my audio is a little bit not so great. Is it clear? Hopefully it's clear. All right. It's good. Thank you, Noman. What's up, Jabbar? What's up, everybody? I see Marlo. How you doing? Yuli from New Jersey. Alicia. Reed out there in Columbus, Ohio. What's up, everybody? Hey, so, for many of you, I'm sure have looked at, hopefully, opportunities by now, deal flow, and hopefully you're getting some consistent deal flow. Maybe we should start there first. If you don't know where to go find deals, let's just quickly chat on that. So let me tell you a quick story about, when I first started as a real estate investor, my mentor, I invested a good amount of money into a mentorship program, and it was a great experience overall, but it was really tough in the beginning. There's Joe. I see you, man. What's going on? And Shrav, excellent. Hey, so it was a great experience for me in the mentorship that I started with back in 2014 when I first started in real estate investing and wholesaling specifically. But I'll tell you, I didn't have clarity on how to find deals besides, the stuff that was being told to me, which is kind of like, with all due respect, and I'm not calling them out on this, but it was kind of basic. It was kind of like old school. And there's still a lot of people having a lot of success with these models, like direct mail, bandit signs, cold calling. At that time, I don't think they were even talking about text messages, really. That's more newer, but pay-per-click ads, doing Google. Man, I just came out of a meeting, a gentleman sitting next to me. He might even hear this message. Kudos to him for doing what he's doing, because he's getting a result. He's getting a multiple on his money, but he's putting out like 30, 40 grand a month in marketing, right? So that's one model. That's like ad spend, right? That's like me spending $1 to make 2, 3, 4, or 5, or even 10. There's a model for that, but it requires capital. So God bless this gentleman. He might even be here. Like I said, he's doing that. He's doing it well. Not everyone has the capacity to spend that kind of money. Or invest that money. Really, it's an investment because you're getting a return. But the fact of the matter is that in the beginning, I was basically being told, which I did, followed the instructions, so to speak. I followed the guide, right? I followed the mentor, is to go out there and do direct mail marketing. So we spent a bunch of money on direct mail. We did also pay-per-click ads. But check it out. This is where I realized I was lacking, and what I want to talk about today, which is deal analysis. Because check it out. My phone was blowing up. I got all these calls coming in from, at the time when I'm sending out mail, all these people, they're seeing this mail come through, these yellow letters that look kind of something like this, or yellow yellow postcards, right? And hey, it's Doug. I'm buying houses in your area. I'd love to know if you want to sell. Hit me up at this number if you're interested in selling, all cash, any condition, the typical stuff. Have you guys ever seen that before? Has anybody here ever seen? Just put direct mail. If you've ever done direct mail or if you've seen direct mail piece, you know what I'm talking about. Just put direct mail or just put mail even in the chat there in the comments. All right, just to make sure you can hear me and that you're understanding where I'm coming from. So that's one model, and you can do a lot of outbound direct mail, cold call. Maybe you could put in there in the comments what you've done before, what you're currently doing now even. Share some comments with us as far as what you're doing right now to source deals. Because I'm going to tell you something, it might be working, but there's a good chance it's not working as well as you want it to. Hence why we're sitting here talking here today about how to do more deals inside this group. And, even after it does work, you're still going to want to make it work even better, more efficiently, more regularly. So the gentleman in the room actually said his goal is to get his cost per lead way lower. And that's something that, there's a lot of data points there. He's spending a couple $100 or more per lead, right, to get those leads to come into his inbox. But he's closing about 3 or 4 deals out of that bucket of like 50K-ish of spend, which is pretty sizable. But for him, the way his model works, he's making between 50 to 100 grand, he says, per deal, which is amazing. So he's going to return. But it's a lot of risk. It's a lot of capital. So again, today, we're going to talk about analysis, but I want to preface it with sourcing, okay, because they're related, right? So if you can source deals, that's great. But if you can't analyze them properly, it's going to be really tough for you to know what's actually a deal and what's a dud, right? It's going to be difficult for you to negotiate. You're not going to be able to move through that process to say, hey, I got something, I got a lead from a whatever marketing source, whether it be direct mail, pay-per-click, cold call, texting, phone calls to people you already know, whatever. You're not going to know how to analyze. So today we're going to spend some more time on analyzing with an actual deal, live analysis. I'm going to show you a real deal. I believe it's in Kentucky. I'm not going to disclose all the information because I don't have the rights to do that and ask that person's permission, but she may be listening too. So if she wants to, she can let me know. I don't know if she's going to proceed with it, but I'm going to tell you guys the numbers. Right? I'm going to show you the data. I'm going to show you the way this works. As long as my screen share works properly, that's what I'm looking to do. But let me give you a reminder though. When you're starting off like I was in 2014 and you don't know how to analyze deals, a person could literally hand you the best deal that you could ever possibly do and you wouldn't even know what to look at. Is anybody with me? Have you ever had like that experience? Like, man, I don't even know. This sounds interesting, but I can't even tell if this is really a deal or not. I don't know how to analyze, right? So if you don't know how to analyze, just be okay. It's we're not here to make fun of anybody. We're not here to laugh at you. Just know you're in a comfortable place here. If you need more analysis, put the word analysis. If you need more training and coaching on analysis, let us know. Analysis is the key word, right? So we want to know that we can reach out to you after and have a conversation about this in more detail. Analysis, if you want to spell it, right? Or analyze, right? However you want to put that there. Look. The bottom line is that I had all these people calling me and I didn't know how to analyze. So what happened then was I had a lot of wasted money. I had a lot of time wasted also. I had a lot of extra everything. It wasn't producing results. It was just getting me the result of a phone call, but it wasn't getting me a result of a contract or a closing. Okay. So thank you for those of you participating there. I see T, I see Chris. I think I saw somebody else as well. T has also said mail, and Priscilla said mail. Thank you guys. Yuli's seen this stuff before. Marlo has seen it for sure. Excellent. Appreciate you guys being engaged, and also Chris analysis. So, so again, the input into analysis is I have a lead, but the output, okay, the output from analysis is what? What do we do after we know how to analyze properly? What do we logically need to do next to move towards a contract on real estate? You guys know? Take a guess. What do we need to do next after we analyze? What's the exit path? And then what does that lead to? Obviously, we want to get under contract, but what comes first? How does the seller know that we're interested? What do we need to present? Waiting because I know it's a little bit delayed, so that's why if you're wondering why I'm sitting here for a couple seconds. Pitch, I like that, Alicia, on the right track. Analysis, and also Marlos's analysis as well. Yeah, but what's in the pitch though? What is the most important part for most people when they're thinking about the pitch? I see you guys hearing me now. So profit, offer up, POF. Yeah, place an offer with deal check. Yeah. So look, First things first, thank you, candidates, for mentioning that. So if you guys don't know, maybe one of my team members could put, or somebody that knows what this is, runyournumbers.com. Runyournumbers.com is going to take you to a place where you can see how to use a tool and a very basic process that we coach on, that I train on, of how to use that tool to have one single source of truth with deal analysis. And today, we're going to see a Google Doc that reflects the underworkings, if you would, the inner workings, the underneath the hood type of stuff around how a tool like Deal Check or Run Your Numbers would work in its inner workings to explain and show you guys, not just tell you guys, right? Because I want to be able to show and not just tell, okay? So I hope you guys get that, okay? Runyournumbers.com. It's going to point you right over to the right site. What's up, Ron? I see you there. What's up, Shrav? Thank you, guys. Thank you, Norman. Yeah, so the entry point into analysis is I have to have a lead. So we have to have something which is a lead. That's going to come from direct mail, cold calls, text messages, or better yet, how about other investors, right? If you guys want to know how to get deals through relationships, put the word relationship. If you want to know how to source an infinite number of deals, literally like as many as you can connect a number of people of in a very systematic way, write the word relationship, and I'll share with you more details about that. Put that as a comment if you could, word relationship. That's what we've been doing since practically the beginning, because I realized if you go back to one of my previous conversations, without a couple of key relationships in New Jersey, our wholesale business would have never got a start. We literally wouldn't even probably be in business doing wholesaling at all. And now we're a couple hundred and some deals later. So relationships are huge. And if you don't have those relationships, you're already kind of at a disadvantage to those people that have them. I'll give you another example, right? I'm standing outside of a meeting that I was in this morning, an exchange group, which we're not here to talk about all the details. If you guys have a question, hit me up. Tell you what I mean by that. My clients know what that is. And they're pitching deals, like everybody's pitching. And then at the end of the meeting, we talk about stuff. So there's one particular gentleman and somebody else said, hey, I got this opportunity. It's off market. It's in Venice. Some of you guys that are in Florida know Venice, Florida, where that's at. This particular property is near the water. It's near a very well-known establishment. That's a place where people hang out and like to go. Currently occupied, right? This is what he's telling me, right? And he's getting the deal for a discount, a significant discount. It's off market, okay? It's off market. Well, check it out. This particular opportunity came to me not because of a direct mail piece. No, not because of a cold call. No, because I actually sat in the room, the same room that we closed the deal not too long ago, a 10K wholesale flip, by literally just having a conversation with one person that has the deal and another individual, a handful of individuals that wanted to buy that deal, and putting some paperwork together. And that's how we do a very efficient wholesale flip, for example. But check it out. This deal was presented to me from a relationship. It wasn't presented to me because a seller decided to call me up on the phone from some fancy marketing piece that I sent out, and I had no idea how it was going to exactly work. Like most people out there buying marketing, buying advertising, you're just hoping and praying that someone else is going to do the work for you and they're going to get you the result that you want. And I'll tell you right now, it could work, but it could also not work. And it usually doesn't work more than it actually works. The direct mail, the cold calling, especially for newer investors. Now, I'm going to have people saying, Doug, you're crazy. You're telling people the wrong stuff, whatever, because they're very biased because it's working for them or because they don't want people to know the good stuff, right? The good stuff is if you get out there and connect with people, shake hands, and as they say, shake hands, kiss babies, whatever, bump bellies, bump chests, whatever you want to do. Just break bread is what people say. If you want to go out there, shout out to my mother-in-law, Fairuz up there. Hey, how you doing? I see Dawn as well. See you guys. Appreciate you being here. And so if you want to go out there and meet people and talk to people and have conversations in person or just from a networking group or an online thing, man, I'm telling you, connections yield deals. Connections yield closings. Connections yield contracts. And so, God willing, this particular relationship, we're going to have many deals together. We're working on the first one right now from this morning. Like what happened was I'm sitting there talking to the gentleman and talking to somebody else, and we're trying to figure out the best structure. I'm shooting a note out to my buddy Phil, who might be listening to us as well, who's part of a fund that we're working with. And basically, we're going to figure out the funding strategy and we're going to figure out the exit strategy. So that's from a relationship. So, but here's the thing. We're here to, again, talk about analysis, but that is the sourcing process that I use regularly, time and time again, tried, tested, and proven. And so, again, keyword relationship, if you're catching this on the end of my conversation here, relationship to source deals religiously, regularly, without question from relationships. If you want that process to be well-defined and talked about with you privately, hit me up on the comment with relationship, and we'll talk about that in DM. or a phone call. Okay. Now, the nitty gritty stuff, the deal analysis. So once I have a deal come in my pipeline, on my actual acquisitions pipeline, how do I begin to analyze it? Well, I need a few things. I need to know what I'm potentially going to buy. So if you guys have a pen and paper, you should write this stuff down. Okay. What are we potentially going to buy? Is it a house? Is it a piece of land? Is it a building? Is it something else? This is part, I'm just going to set this expectation, then we're going to go to a screen share and show an example. Okay. What am I buying? Okay. How about this? Specifically, what's the condition of what I'm buying? I need to understand, is it in great condition, not the greatest condition? Does it need major renovation? Does it need light renovation? Hey, check this out. Is it occupied? Is there an owner in it? Is there a tenant in it? Is there someone who's not supposed to be staying there, like a squatter person sitting there, even though, God bless them, they need to get themselves together, but they're taking up that space in that side of that unit. I can't do anything with it until they're out. So I need to now get maybe the sheriff involved, or I need to get someone else involved to get that person out to change locks and things like that. That happens a lot in properties that are in major distress or that have been vacant for a while. So I'm giving you guys some nuggets here in the middle of the conversation because you could think about vacant properties. You could think about distressed real estate. You could think about financial distress. These are targets to find leads, right? So when you're going out there getting lists, like a lot of people try to go find the magic list. What's that list you target, Doug? I'll tell you right now. In my world, at least, and some people, again, will argue this, and I'm okay with this, and you guys have difference of opinion. It's no big deal. Some people are big on like high equity absentee owners. Like that's their target list. And the thing is that will get a result, but a lot of times you get 90+% pushback, maybe 95% of the people that you talk to are like, hey, I don't want to talk to you about selling my house. I have all this equity. Why would I ever sell it to you for a discount? Because why? They don't have motivation to sell. So if you want to find motivation, I would tell you distress, as in physical distress, properties in dilapidated condition, and or financial distress, or some other life event, like a divorce or like a tax issue or like some other kind of issue is coming up for that individual, that owner of the property, that you have to find out if you're going direct. Now, guess what? If you're not going directly to the sellers, which is a cumbersome process, a very effective and very good process if you could dial it in, right? We're working on some stuff to define our process for that right now. And we'll be happy to share that once we know it's working. We'll share some more information about that. But if the fact of the matter is, if there's not a lot of distress, you're gonna have the trouble to find the motivation. And if there's not motivation, then all this deal analysis stuff kind of almost doesn't make sense because you're gonna have a property that they're trying to sell retail, a property that's not in physical distress, a property that doesn't have a financial burden associated to it. So that's kind of a prerequisite for today's conversation. If you don't look at leads that have those things going on, it's gonna be difficult for you to make any sense of the analysis. So know that. Now, we're going to get into analysis, I promise, but we're going to kind of talk about the entry point to analysis and then the exit point because it's very important. We're in the middle, but we're going to talk about the middle part, which is analysis. But before we get there, we have to talk about lead generation and sourcing. Once we get out of analysis, very critical. Don't be like a lot of folks and get into what's called analysis paralysis, right? I'm sure you've heard that before. It's not a made-up thing. Like it's been around for a long time. People talking about analysis paralysis. It's a mindset psychology thing. Who knows what I'm talking about? Just say me if you get that. I mean, if you've been there before, let's just admit it, right? I'll raise my hand. Who's been in analysis paralysis? Just say me, okay? So what that is really is lack of confidence and motivation to move forward because you're not sure what's going to come next. Dawn, nothing but love. Marlo, nothing but love. I see you guys. Priscilla, thank you for being willing to share. Ellie, I appreciate you guys. Look, it's okay. I see T, I see Adriana. Analysis paralysis just means, in real talk, Tom is not analysis paralysis. Tom just did a great presentation. I wasn't able to stay on. I want to get the copy of that. I want to listen to that. I want to have you in. Excellent job, man. Griseldi. So check it out. Where does analysis paralysis come from in our head? It comes from a lack of knowledge. Well, where does knowledge come from? Two things: awareness and understanding. Awareness and understanding. If you're writing notes, awareness is different than understanding. There's Alex. What's up, buddy? How you doing? Analyze. You can analyze. That's right. So Alex is up in New Jersey. Alex is a real estate agent. Alex has worked with our title company. He's worked in multiple parts of our business. I appreciate Alex, and I see his name pop up time to time. Man, we got to catch up real soon. I'd love to hear what you got going on inside and outside of what we got going on together. And fear. Yeah, fear also. Good to see you, man. Like my ice cream cone, that's London's drawing right there. So he knows my daughter, London. She's an artiste, as we say. Analysis paralysis is coming from a place of either or both a lack of awareness and or a lack of understanding. Say that one more time. Analysis paralysis comes from a lack of awareness and or a lack of understanding. If you're with me, just say, I get it, right? I get that. Just put somewhere there so I know you're with me. Okay. How do we break free? How do we break free from analysis paralysis? Because check it out. I could sit here all day till I'm blue in the face showing you analysis of this deal, and you're just like, all right, cool. Now what do we do? Or maybe you know what to do, but you're like, I don't feel comfortable yet doing it because I don't know enough about something and I'm scared, and it's okay. We've all been there. All right. It's awesome. I appreciate it. Adriana, Dawn, Alex, Priscilla, you guys are great. Appreciate the engagement. Dawn says, I'm learning that action is more important than knowledge in the real estate. That's right. Take action. That's 100% correct. So if you can get into action mode faster, precisely, then you're going to win over the people that just sit there and think about it and don't actually take action. So number one, be action oriented. 100% true. Thank you guys for saying that. Right? Candace says, put our big boy or big girl britches on and implement. I almost read that wrong. It sounded like you're saying something else, but I knew what you meant there. So excellent. Right. My comedy's a little dry. So and I'm talking to a screen. Let's be honest. There's no like engagement besides you guys typing words. So it's kind of weird. If you guys ever do this, you'll know what I mean. It's not even like going like this on the phone. It's like I'm talking to literally like this like dashboard on Facebook Live, and it's like I got comments on the right. I got this like stuff. I don't even know what it means. And then like the number of people that are on here, which is 30 some people, which is awesome. I appreciate you guys. But it's kind of funny because I'm sitting here talking and I see myself in a little box on the window, which I don't really enjoy as much. Honestly, I wish we could do this in person and just have you guys come down and visit. We might have something coming up soon, like an in-person deal. And we're also going to have, more engaging conversations. If you don't know, check out the comment I pinned about our 90-day accelerator. We have a couple folks in the room here that are our clients, getting some great results and making progress. Obviously, some people still going down that growth journey, right? So absolutely, take your own advice. Absolutely. So check it out. Lack of awareness and lack of understanding. All right. Lack of awareness comes from what? Lack of knowledge, lack of education. Lack of understanding typically comes from lack of action. Okay. So if you don't have understanding, it's probably because you haven't experienced it yet. Where does experience come from? Experience comes from actually seeing it happen, living through it. Life experience, right? What's it like to be a parent? If you guys are a parent, you know what I'm talking about. I've been a parent for 12 plus years now. It's a blessing, but it's also a lot of work, and you don't really know all the time exactly what the right thing to do is. You kind of emulate a lot of things that you saw as a kid, subconsciously or consciously, and you think like, you know what's right, you know what's wrong, but you still do your best, and you're still not 100% like satisfied, at least if you care. If you're a parent that cares about your kids like we do, you're still like pushing yourself to do better every time. Think about how I can say something a little bit different, how I get the result without having as much stress or pushback in different stages of the kids' lives, right? There's different things we face as parents even. So in business, and specifically real estate investment, we got to go through some kind of an experience, right? So this is today a level of an experience, but it's more about education and creating awareness than it is about understanding. You're going to have a limited understanding. You're going to have a limited understanding from today. My goal is to help you get that to be much larger. And that's what we do, again, inside of our private coaching and mastermind group called the Growth Collective. We focus on understanding and awareness, but we want to get our clients into action mode. We want to get you guys making offers. That's the key thing, making an offer. Man, is that scary in the beginning? It's scary to make an offer on a property. You don't know how you're going to buy it yet. But you have enough resources around you of people that will take the deal analysis that we're going to get into today and say, wait a second, this deal makes total sense. I'd love to participate in that deal with you somehow. Can we joint venture? Can I lend you capital? Can we go get capital from Real Direct Lending? Can we go get a joint venture partner from a private group that we're in, like the Growth Collective or somewhere else, or a network of people that we meet in person, right? But the fact of the matter is, without you taking action, everybody, each of us has to take action. So for example, we're about to go into contract on a property in Tampa. We're about to go into contract on a property in Venice. We already have a contract on a property in Sarasota, and we have a project under construction in New Jersey, and we have multiple things happening outside of that on our title company and on the funding side. So a lot of things are happening. We're taking action, right? And so in order for us to get results and grow our businesses, we have to be willing to take action. So today, and pretty much every time we do this meeting, The goal is to create a little bit more awareness for you of what is possible, what can be done, and get you a little bit down the line of understanding, but the rest is up to you. And that's the part that's tough to hear sometimes. You have to be willing to take action, and specific action that will get a specific result to get you specific progress. Because without progress, without action, there will be no progress. There will just be thinking and you'll be stuck in your head. You'll be kind of in like this limbo mode. We need to move forward, not stay in the same place and kind of think about it. We got to go do stuff. So on that note, though, it's a lot easier to do stuff in life when you know what to do, when you know why you have to do that, when you know who to talk to do that stuff to and with. Like, how does that all work? So today, let me find the actual file here. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. If you guys are ready for this, just write the deal. Just write the word deal if you're ready to see the deal. Getting my all right, I'm getting some technical glitch here. What's going on? There we go. Excellent. Thank you, Marlo. Thank you. I saw Yuri or you. I'm sorry, my screen is jumping around here. Let me see. Let's go get this file. We got about 30 folks on here, 32 or so. Thank you guys for being here. We're just bringing up right now my screen to share a real example from a meeting we just had yesterday with one of our coaching clients. And she has got an opportunity to buy a property out of state that might make a lot of sense financially. It just really depends. And like I said, I'm not going to go into the specifics of the property per se, but I will show you the numbers. And let me make sure I got this right. Yep. Okay. All right, I'm going to share my screen. I get this right. Hopefully this works, Facebook. Stay with me. Where is the old screen share now? Hopefully it lets me do that. I was hoping I could. Let's see. Appreciate you guys being patient. I believe I can share my screen. And if I can't, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to come back on right after and go live again. But let's see if I can end video. No. Stream. Viewer. I'm not an expert with Facebook's live setup here, so forgive me. You know, usually like on Zoom, it's like you click a button and then boom, we're good. So this is one of the downsides. I'm not that familiar with the Facebook model on Facebook Live. So interactivity. All right. I'm gonna do a quick survey of the room who we have here. Would you guys like me to talk it through, or would you like me to pause or come back on live right away and just share my screen from the start? Because I don't know how to make it happen without doing that. What would you guys prefer? I can talk it through. Switch live to your phone. I thought about doing that, Cannons, but I need to share my screen, so I'd have to go. I could do it from my computer, but I have to do it from the start. So I think I'll do a screen share. Yeah. Let's see. Maybe there's just clicking around here to see if I could sort this out before I do that. Screen share seems like those of you that are contributing to the pull, create a clip. No. It's got like polls and different things you could do, but it doesn't have an option for screen share, unfortunately. Not right now. It like wants me to do that in the beginning of the meeting. So, all right, cool. So check it out. Hang tight. You're gonna see me go live. I'm gonna copy something real quick here, the actual post, and then I'll be right back in. Don't go anywhere. You're going to see the screen. You're going to get the second half of this conversation. We're going to get to work looking at a deal together. All right. So I'll be right back. Hang tight and jump back in. Grab this. All right. I'll see you guys in just a second. Be right back. Okay. I think we're back. I'm going to monitor if I can. I think it's starting up here. We're going to monitor the comments. Facebook is starting, it says. Closing some windows down so we got some more bandwidth on the computer. I'm going to crash the computer. All right. So what are we looking at? Well, first off, I want to make sure you guys can all hear me. Everybody out there? Hopefully we got folks coming back in the room from the last live that we just ended. I had an issue with the screen share there, so got the screen share going now and seeing the viewers pop in. So I'll wait a couple seconds for you guys to gather. Let us know you're back. Put a comment in, let us know you're back. I see a like. That's good. Appreciate you guys liking. All right. And those of you that couldn't make it, back into the mix, we don't hold it against you. Sorry about the technical glitch there, but had a little issue with Facebook Live. So we're back. All right. Ron's back. Canon's back. Excellent. Noman. Perfect. So check it out. I'm going to start going here, and then hopefully folks will catch the replay. Tanya says, sorry, came on late. No worries, actually. You didn't miss a whole lot. I mean, you kind of missed a part of it. Obviously, we talked about the preface, prerequisite, if you would, to get to look at a deal, to start looking at, opportunities, what you want to consider. But we're gonna jump into the analysis right now, actually. So you're fine. Perfect. All right, so what we're looking at here, this is a live deal presented. I'm going to go through everything, and I'm not going to be able to explain everything, but I'm going to let you guys understand certain factors. And then this is like the awareness discussion with some limited understanding of how this all works. This is a BRRRR opportunity, BRRR, which is a buy, renovate, rent, refi on a 5-unit in Kentucky, presented by one of our clients, Jasmine, yesterday. The gross operating income, just so you guys have the terminology, GOI, gross operating income, is basically your collected rents. Net operating income, NOI, is calculated as gross operating income minus your fixed expenses, which we'll talk about in a second, minus your vacancy, and minus any other expenses or budgets that you want to include. All right. And so again, if you have a question about this, feel free to put it as a comment. If you want to also kind of let us know where you're at again, in case you missed the first part, let us know what state and city, or city and state, I should say, you're coming from. Take a look at this information if you want to share. And then as far as the income goes on this particular deal, right? And this is going to be your current rent rule on this particular 5-unit building. Unit 1's vacant. Unit 2 is $700 a month. They made a payment like last month or this month. Unit 3 is low on rents. Its last payment was 6 months ago, so that's going to ellipse because that's not good. Unit 4, $600 payment every month. Last payment was about a month ago, so they're due. And Unit 5 is vacant. So the total rents currently are almost $2,000 a month. But the interesting thing is when you're looking at a BRRRR, you're not necessarily looking at just current, you're looking at future, right? Because we're trying to make sense of how to make this thing even more valuable. How do we get this to be a cash flow machine? So the pro forma future rent roll, okay, the individual client here, Jasmine, has an agent telling her that $765 is basically the market rent when this thing's renovated and fully stabilized, which comes out to be about $38.25 per month, $45.9 per year. So that's our positive, that's our revenue, that's money's collected, if you would, rent's collected. Now we move into expenses, right? So we calculated the total about $8,000, $7,900 per year, with taxes being about $2,500, insurance about $1,200, utilities paid by landlord. We're estimating water for the whole building $250 per month times 12 months, $3,000 per year. Sewer $1,200, so that comes out to about $8,000 altogether. Variable and budgetary expenses, okay? Vacancy, 1 month of total vacancy is kind of the rule of thumb, but lenders like 10%. So because they want to be conservative, right? Now, property management is discretionary. You don't have to have property management, but you could. And usually it's about average 10% for something like this. Might be less for a larger building, might be more depending on certain factors, but Capital expenditures, otherwise called CapEx, improvements, updates, etc. Now, if it's a BRRRR, I believe my model is that when I'm buying a BRRRR, my CapEx budget can be less because we're going to renovate that property to its highest and best use before we fully stabilize it and occupy it. Because we're not going to be like waiting to do stuff. We're going to do that on the renovation phase. But if it's already stabilized, but maybe there's some deferred maintenance, like it's already fully occupied, like or mostly occupied with people that are paying about market rent, but maybe the roof needs to get redone, or maybe there's some systems that I got to get updated. You want to basically budget some more capex for that capital expenditure because you're gonna be spending money. You may not do it right now in the renovation phase when you buy that property, but you will be doing it at some point in the near future, probably. So, and then maintenance, things like snow removal, landscaping, handyman stuff, toilets, clog pipes, etc. You want to have also a budget for that. Now, if it's a BRRRR, right, maintenance can be less because we're going to be renovating that property to its highest and best use again before we fully stabilize it. And if it's stabilized already, all right, if it's already stabilized, you might have some deferred maintenance again, but you can still budget some more maintenance because you're going to have to deal with those problems as they come up. Are you guys getting this? Is it coming through clearly? Are you hearing me? I want to make sure that the audio is good and that you guys are following generally what's going on. And make sure you put a question or two if you have one about anything I'm saying so I can go back and try to recap those questions either now or later on. I'm going to pause there for a second as you guys are gathering any questions you might have. I'm looking at the comments here coming in. Shrav is back. Tonya, are you still there, Tonya? Kenneth, you hearing us loud and clear? Ron, how you guys doing? Can you hear us okay? Ellie's there. Sounds good. Perfect. Okay. We're going to keep going. I'm assuming you guys are just a little quiet today. You want to be a little less engaged. It's okay. No problem. Renovation plan for BRRRR. So the scope of work, I mean, every property practically, but this one especially needs some updates, right? The property condition is at got about half the units-ish, occupied. And we talked about financial occupancy versus actual occupancy. That's another conversation for another day. But basically, you want to make sure that you have rents being collected. And to maximize the use of this building, we want to be able to do updates to push that value up, but ultimately to collect more rent. I'm going to explain to you why in a little bit when we get there. Because the amount of money we can collect in rent seems logical, but that's actually more important than you can imagine on a 5+ unit building because of the way that the property is appraised. So we want to look at structural and functional issues. We want to say, like, is there anything obviously wrong with the structure? We get an inspection and we can see with our eyes. Functional will be like systems, like HVAC system, plumbing, electrical, the roof, the windows. I already put HVAC. We're going to come back to the budget for this particular project because we're going to use what's called the income approach to calculate the value, right? So we're going to reverse engineer this. And then time, we're not going to worry about right now as far as how long. We'll get back to that later. So now it's very important, though, that the congruence between your budget and the scope, this is on any property that you're looking to renovate and you're looking to either flip or keep. You all have to remember congruence means like the same or similar, right? So we need to make sure that we're actually showing a budget and scope that can hit that ARV, meaning if I have to get, let's say, a certain number of, let's say it's a flip of $500,000 on a sale. Well, what are houses that are $500,000? What they're selling for that, but what do they actually look like? What is the condition of those houses? All right. I see Griseldi. I see Yuli. Appreciate you guys being here. Thank you, Mo, for tagging the group to get folks in the room. And if you're kind of catching this and you got tagged or you got the everyone, you're like, man, I just hate when they do that. No problem. We have nothing against you. You're welcome to stay or you're welcome to, peacefully exit the group. It's no big deal. I mean that with nothing but love. Anybody who's not liking that tag, maybe this group isn't valuable for you and that's okay. You could just click the button that says, I'm okay. I don't need any more information. And we're not offended by that. If you love this, then show us the love. Comment, please. Come here every Friday right now at 1 p.m. We share value. We share real deal stuff. We have a private coaching group as well. Happy to talk to you about that, but it's got to make sure it's relevant for you listening to us. And if it's not, no big deal. We're not offended, like I said. So very important though. And I see even the most experienced investors making this mistake when they analyze deals. They're saying, well, properties are selling for $500,000, but all you need to do is renovate the kitchen. And meanwhile, the roof is 15 years old, the windows are falling apart, and the systems are like 20 years old. And I'm like, well, I can't get the $500,000 unless I do those things that are obviously need to be done. And moreover, maybe the floor is it's carpet, but it needs to be LVP or hardwood or tile. And meanwhile, like that doesn't have a backyard, but the other house has a backyard. and let's say it doesn't have a fence, but this one does, like, all these different little nuances, but it adds up. So you got to make sure that you're budgeting and scoping your renovation project on either a rental or a flip to make sure that it's going to be relevant to hit that ARV. Okay. If you guys have any questions on that, let me know in the chat, in the comments. I mean, now there's two kinds of values, right? So there's going to be ARV, which is after repair value, and there's going to be AIV, as is value. This is kind of like lender terminology, right? So again, if you don't know, realdirectlending.com, if someone from my office or team could post that in the comments to show the folks that are here, they want to get more information about realdirectlending.com, that'd be awesome. Basically, from a private money perspective, we have access to capital that will lend on the purchase and renovation, typically up to 85, sometimes 90, but 90 is really tough to get right now. 80 to 85, we'll say, the total cost of the project, and typically capped out at about 70% of that after repaired value. And these are commercial loans that could be used to do renovations on non-owner occupied investment property and effectively get you the majority of the capital, but it's based upon the ARV, and also there's some elements that are based upon the AIV, the as is value. Another conversation for another day. We're not going to be able to get into all that right now. All right, 5 units or more. This is very important, everybody. Very, very important. 5 units or more, the value when appraised is weighted on the income approach. Income approach. I'm saying that one more time. Income approach, not the sales comparison approach. When you look at 1 to 4 units, that's where folks are looking at the sales comparison. Show me a comp. Show me a property that's sold nearby that's similar to this one that's in great condition. What can it sell for? What can mine sell for? Well, in this case, we don't really care so much about that because we're looking at the value based upon the income of the property. You might say, well, how does that work exactly? We're going to get to that, right? We're going to show you. This is, by the way, just to recap, this is from a live hot seat discussion that we have every single week with our clients inside the Growth Collective that we do religiously every Thursday at 11 a.m. That's a private group, just one of like a handful of meetings that we have every week. We broke this down. We did this in real time with this deal. We showed the screen, but we went through the details. I explained to Jasmine and the other clients how this all works. I'm showing you the output from that so you guys get a flavor of what it's like to be a part of our private coaching group inside specifically the hot seat, right? And what that hot seat means is that you're going to bring a deal. You're going to bring an opportunity. You're going to bring some scenario that you want to go deeper on that you can't get accomplished without having that focus of like 20, 30, 40 minutes, an hour even of time with you and me talking one-to-one in that hot seat. One-to-one, as in me, myself, speaking to Griseldi or speaking to Ellie or speaking to Yuli, Tanya, Ron, Candace, anyone else. Tanya is again there, I see. All right. So like, if you guys need that one-to-one support, this is pretty much what we do every week inside the hot seat for all of our clients. So you have the all you literally have to do if you're in the Growth Collective is raise your hand and say, I have something I want to review. And guess what? You get the floor. You get the floor as in you get the opportunity to speak in front of the group and talk about your deal. So if you like that, go ahead and comment hot seat. If you want to learn more about how that all works, put hot seat in the comment. Hot seat. All right. To get commercial property value, start with these things below. Okay. We talked before about net operating income, NOI, less vacancy. What does that mean? Net operating income is the amount of money that this property would generate on a monthly basis or a yearly basis, and vacancy, like net income. And then vacancy is a calculation or a factor that we take off to accommodate the fact that people are going to leave this building and not be tenants forever. And we're going to have turnover and we're going to have issues with the property just inevitably over time. All right, cool. So essentially, we want to look at NOI less vacancy once it's stabilized. And that's okay, Tanya. Just so everybody knows, you don't have to have a deal to have participation in the hot seat. Actually, if you don't have a deal, that's even better in some ways because you get to learn from other people presenting their deals, and then you get to know who's doing deals in the group, in that the Growth Collective group, and then you get to connect to those people and figure out how you can collaborate. So that's even another reason to consider it. But yes, I understand. So everybody, we want to help you get deals. That's the point. That's why we have a 90-day accelerator with a 90-day do a deal guarantee. And if you don't close a deal in 90 days, we work with you until you do for free. And if you do close a deal in 90 days, guess what? We won't kick you out of the group as long as you're willing to do a testimonial for us. So you can't really beat that. It's pretty much access all the time as long as you do what you're supposed to do. If you don't do it, you can't get it done for whatever reason, we'll still support you. And if you do, we just want you to celebrate it. That's a pretty sweet deal if you ask me. Yeah, she said it's sweet. So, hey, we'll talk about that. If you have a question about, like I said, how that all works, either put a comment or hit me up at a DM, and we'll get in touch later today or this weekend at some point. So back to the screen here. All right. I see like 19 people listening, but I don't see anybody in the comments. You guys, where are you at? Are you guys just like monitoring, like stalking me or something like that? I'm joking. Are you guys like here to listen and here to learn? I hope you are. If again, like you're just kind of checking us out, no big deal, but I want to make sure you're staying plugged in. So here, I'll do this. If you guys are doing deals right now, I'd like you to say, I got a deal or I have a deal. If somebody in the room has a deal, I want you all to use the opportunity to raise your hand and say, I have a deal. Right. And you can do that inside the comments and as I'm talking. You don't have to wait for me to call you out, but you can say, I got a deal. And if somebody is looking for a deal, I want you to say, I'm looking for a deal. And the reason I say that is because there's people in this group that literally have exactly what you want. And there's people in this group that don't have what they want and that just need to connect to the people that have what you want. You just got to connect intentionally. And we do that in a big way every single week, again, inside the Growth Collective, but you guys could do it here on these conversations we have inside the chat or the comments. And so make sure you're being intentional about that. Okay, back to our sheet here. So remember the gross operating income. So key inputs to get this commercial property value, NOI less vacancy once stabilized. The gross operating income is part of this calculation, 45,900 minus our fixed expenses of 7,900 minus the vacancy of 10% times GOI is what this number is, means that we have a what's called pro forma, possibly will be in the future, NOI less vacancy of 33,410. 33,410 is the amount of income this property should generate, probably at a minimum, if everything goes kind of okay with vacancy being 10% and our expenses factored in without any debt on it. So that's a very important part because what if we put debt on it? We're going to get there. But the market cap rate is the second key input with commercial property value. So you guys might say, Doug, I just want to do a single family home, fix and flip. I want to do Airbnb like I know Tony is saying. That's fine. That's great. But this is still going to help you because you understand how do the investors that are doing commercial deals think about numbers, think about value, think about creating opportunity. They think about things like this. I'm part of multiple masterminds and coaching groups that focus on commercial real estate as well as residential. So I'm a student as well. I'm always learning. I'm always growing. I'm just like you guys looking to elevate to the next level. And so these are things that we get from being part of those groups. And so market capitalization rate, otherwise called cap rate, for the market, we checked for this particular metro market, right? It's showing as 5.8% as of Q1 of 2022. It's a little old, but it's good enough to me to say about where should this thing be when it's all said and done. The math for the income approach appraisal, NOI less vacancy, so that number which we had was 33,410, divided by the market cap right here, yields 576 ARV. All right, we're done. That's it. Like, I know that sounds nuts, but that's as simple as the ARV is, okay? Now, I'm oversimplifying a little bit because we got to make sure we factor in how an appraiser would weight certain factors, if there's any other considerations, if there's some anomaly about this property or something else going on in the market there that we're not talking about. But this is essentially the simplicity of a cap rate based income approach appraisal. Again, this is something you want to check with your local real estate folks, check with your appraisers, but this is how I know it to be the generalized across the board for the United States of America, how income approaches are done on appraisals, how the analysis is done to get our ARV. So now we have our ARV. So now what? Okay, let's talk about the renovation plan. Well, this particular property needs about 10K per unit based upon the pictures that we saw. We estimated together as a group. Bathrooms, kitchen as needed. We don't see the pictures of the kitchen, but some of them need to be renovated fully. Some of them we could tell, we know they're occupied, so they might need new appliances or whatever. But the flooring throughout the entire place, probably the paint, the fixtures. There's a whole conversation about dealing with the turnover of tenants, like getting people out of there that are not paying market rent or paying below it, whichever. That's a different story, but we went into that detail with Jasmine, our client, yesterday and showed her kind of different factors to consider. Now, HVAC, we don't know if this HVAC is set up where it's separate units for separate zones for separate units. So meaning like Phil, actually, who's my partner on something right now that we're working on and we're going to be sharing more about. Phil is helping out with the coaching, and he said, hey, what about the fact that there might be different zones? Like obviously you need to have different units, have different zones for the thermostat to know, hey, is it cold, is it hot? It has forced hot air, probably air conditioning as well. But the fact is it one unit that's heating and cooling the whole house, the whole building, or is it separate ones? So we need to make sure we know that. The condition or age of the roof, We need to find that out. We need to find out the condition age of the systems, plumbing, and there's more stuff. But these are things that Jazz is going to go back and find out. We kind of estimate at 50K-ish for cosmetic stuff, and we're budgeting another 50K, at least initially without getting the answers, another 50. So a total budget of like 100K. All right. I want you guys to understand something that we're about to get into is, and this is no like sugarcoating. I mean this, like this could be life changing for more than most people in this group. Like what I'm about to show you, which is not like a sales thing. It's just literally like when I realized this, I realized why I need to move away from fixing and flipping for like the long term. Like I was growing a fix and flip sort of like business and doing multiple deals a month, buying property, selling property. We still wholesale. We still have a couple of projects underway, but we're not growing intentionally or fix and flip. We're focusing on acquisitions of commercial real estate and specifically value adds. That's my personal investment goals. So if you guys want to know what's Doug up to, like that's what it is. Wholesale real estate, funding for real estate. I own a title insurance company. I coach clients all across the country. And then personally as an investor, I'm looking for value add multifamily and commercial real estate. So if you guys have something to look at, let me know. I am a buyer. All right. This is major though, because you guys don't understand the power of what this does for when you go to figure out the actual pricing and stuff. So if my ARV is 576, which we just calculated based upon the income approach, and I can get 75% of that, we're estimating on a refinance, a 75% what's called LTV, loan to value. This means that I can get about a $432,000 max loan. And this is specifically a DSCR loan. DSCR stands for debt service coverage ratio. This means that I don't have to use personal qualifications like DTI, W-2 income, income verification, bank statements even. And I don't have to do any of that tax return stuff. There's usually not as much involved for a DSCR loan. Like this is called a low doc commercial loan. So if you're sitting here saying, how am I going to do this deal with none of my own money? How am I going to refinance this building with no good credit? Credit's a different story. You need to personally guarantee typically DSCR loans, but you could also loop in a credit partner potentially. There's different strategies there. But like if you have never done something like this before, you don't have a lot of experience, it's still doable. The question is, let's look at the numbers. 432 is my max loan. If I took that loan of 432 and I subtracted out my hypothetical 100K of reno, it leaves me $332,000, thousand, right? Total loan for purchase, carry, and cash out. We'll come back to that. If I buy this thing for $290 plus some closing costs, carry costs, financing costs, refinance, if I can be less than $332, which I probably can, then I could buy this deal using none of my own capital, which is a strategy that I coach on as well inside the Growth Collective. And I could also refinance this property with having none of my own capital or anyone else's capital locked into the property and literally own this property with no money tied into it. And also with over $130,000, $140,000 of equity, which by the way is 576 of value with 432 of a loan. That's that 25% equity. If this is like a lot of stuff to gather, I know it probably sounds like another language, and it kind of is. Take the notes. Let's have a follow-up conversation. That's okay. But just hear the language. Understand these are the things we get into details on inside of our group. And this is what I share with you guys to give you an idea, a lens, if you would, to see what it's like to be part of that group and get the details so you know what to do with deals. But the fact of the matter is, the challenge we have on this deal is cash flow. So as much as it's great that I can have over 100 grand of equity, and I could have literally none of my own money in this property and own it forever with over 100 grand of equity and potentially cash flow. But this is where the problem came. Cash flow. NOI, right? Minus debt service. Cash flow equals NOI minus debt service. So my NOI on a monthly basis is $2,784. $2,784 is my expected net operating income. That's minus out my 3021, which is my supposed payment on a $432,000 loan at 7.5%, which is the kind of going rate right now in that range, 7 to 8% on a 30-year amortization, 30-year fixed DSCR loan. That's kind of where it's at today. That could change up or down. There are some programs available for less than that. There's many available for more than that, but this is kind of a rough average depending upon your credit and experience and stuff. And this is also a commercial deal. It's 5+, so keep that in mind. You're looking at negative cash flow. That's not what you want, really. So this is where the deal kind of hit some brakes. How do we do this? How do we increase? It says rents, but actually, how do we increase the cash flow? Well, we could increase the rents, but that's going to be like maybe midterm rental, maybe some additional income or parking, laundry. But check it out. Here's a simple solution. And so I think where we left off, I got to see what's below this. Take a smaller loan on the refinance, right? So this is where I come into the matter and say, hey, if you're talking to me or someone in my office from Real Direct Lending, we might say, how do I make this deal work? And also part of our coaching group, we kind of coach and consult on these kind of scenarios where it's like, hey, if you just took a loan for 65% and had enough to pay off the purchase price, the carry cost, all that stuff, and you still had even more equity, guess what? My loan amount's smaller, my payment's smaller, my cash flow is higher. Smaller loan, more equity, and my net income and cash flow, basically my cash flow really is going to be higher. All right. So with that being said, that's in a nutshell what it takes. Now, I don't want to leave you guys on the edge of your seat or anything like that, because I feel like if I stop here, I might be. And I'm trying to think I can't stop the screen share. I guess it's weird. Facebook doesn't want to have me do both. It just wants to do only screen share or only, no, challenge or good old Facebook. But hopefully Facebook doesn't get upset with me for doing a third live. But I'm learning that you can't do like Zoom and you can't do a screen share. And if you can, I'll figure it out. But if you can't, you can't. At the end of the day, here I am again. So if you missed what we talked about, what we just did was we had 2 different lives because of the Zoom not being used today, which is fine. But the fact is that Facebook Live does not allow me inside this particular setup here to do both a screen share, as far as I can tell, and also have a presentation of me talking, a little window of video, whatever. So we're here back again, and we're going to wrap this up. So I'm already kind of at the time we have. I'm not even sure if you guys are going to hear this because Facebook may be confused as to why I'm doing another 3rd video inside the group. So I might break something. So I'm sorry if I did. Facebook, nothing but love, but help us out here and maybe let me know how I could do if Facebook can somehow give me a suggestion or something like that. AI, where you at? Like, I need to know how to do a Facebook Live with a screen share with the ability to turn it on or off without ending the video. So, hey, the first part of our conversation today, if you go through the feed, and maybe my team can figure out a way to put this all together, if you guys want to go back and check it, it's inside the group. We talked about the setup of preparing to do deal analysis, sourcing deals right properly, and actually going out there and thinking about different strategies to get leads, right? And doing that through relationships. And a number of you had commented the word relationship and said that you want to learn about that. So that's perfect. We'll follow up with you. Then we went into the screen share using another video because I couldn't figure out how to do it with Facebook Live, unfortunately. Sorry, guys. To share my screen and also talk over the presentation of the deal analysis that we just had in our hot seat discussion inside the Growth Collective yesterday. One of our clients. And she's like at the precipice of doing her next deal. So very exciting. And she got a 5-unit building there in Kentucky somewhere that she's looking at buying. I went over the analysis, so you guys can check out the video of that analysis we just did. And then now we're here. So what is the next step? Well, the next step for that particular deal is to make an offer. And so it's up to the client, in this case, Jasmine, or up to you guys, if you're listening and doing this on your own, to actually go out there and make that offer. Now, on that note, right, you have a few options. You have 3 main options in this business. You could DIY, which is do it yourself. And I give you guys a lot of credit for doing it yourself. It takes a lot of work, a lot of effort, a lot of things, capital, time, strife, struggle, and not really knowing what's right and what's wrong. DIY, you can do it yourself. Go do it. Go make it happen. Take action. Celebrate it. I'm excited for you. Number 2, you could do it with someone. DWY, I have to be careful how I say that. DWY, do with you. We could do it with you. The done with you process is really the purpose of this conversation. This conversation is very limited. Every Friday at 1 p.m., we do a limited done with you, example or story or guest speaker or something that's going to help bring value to you. So we're attempting to kind of get to know how it would be like to do it with us as far as doing the growth of your business as a real estate investor with us in some capacity. So that's an option. And inside of our private coaching and mastermind group called the Growth Method, we do it with our clients all the time. Every single week, people come with questions and with scenarios and with deals and present things. And right now we have multiple scenarios where we're doing deals with clients. We're actually helping them do the deal. And depending on the scenario, there might be an incentive for us or there might not. It might just be part of what we do as a coaching group, right? And then check it out. There's a third option, which a couple of our highest tier clients are choosing to go for, which is done for you, right? Done for you is DFY, right? I'm curious to know if anybody listening to this live, if you even can, I don't know if Facebook's can even prioritize it because we did so many lives today, so it might be a problem, but If you guys hear this message and you're interested in the done for you offer, you can do one of two things. You can comment DFY, as in the letters DFY, or you can go to my personal Facebook page by literally clicking my picture on the top of this thing and go there, and you'll see a post that I made that explains my background before real estate investing. And then you can either comment there or send me a direct message instead of the letters DFY. I'm not going to go through a whole thing today, but I'll tell you that the done for you system has three main results we're targeting. We want to get traffic to your business and your life and whatever you're trying to promote, in this case, real estate investing. We want to get leads generated for your business, and we want to get you to be able to have, or have your team have, more fruitful conversations. So it's traffic, leads, and conversations. And so if you want any one or more of those things, you got to consider the done for you option. Now, if you're not sure if you can financially commit to something like that, it is multiples of tens of thousands of dollars to do that done for you. It's not like it's just, you walk into it and you take it off the shelf and it's like a book. We're not selling books. We're not selling courses. This is literally my team building out your technical setup and your marketing setup and your process to go out and do deals and helping you do that for you, right? And installing certain individuals into your business a certain way. If that's of interest, then you just got to do this. Raise your hand either here or, again, in private. You can send me a DM that says DFY. I have space for literally 3 more done for you clients. And this isn't a sales thing. I'm just telling you right now, I have the capacity to take on 3 more. If anyone wants one of those 3, you can just, again, send me a DM or comment. I'm also working with some of the most experienced investors right now. 2 of my clients are very, very experienced that are going to do done for you. Like, they've done hundreds of deals before. And it's interesting because initially when I came up with this idea of offering a done for you service, I'm saying, well, maybe I can help people that are super busy but haven't closed the deal yet, which might be you listening to me right now. But I know that there's other people, right? And by the way, if you missed why there's an ice cream cone next to me on this whiteboard, it's because my daughter was in my office and my son as well for take your kid to work day. So why does Doug have an ice cream cone on his whiteboard? Like that's my daughter, Lana. I love her so much. So if you are an experienced investor, we'll get to that. So a newer investor might not have any time and maybe have limited resources otherwise, but you want to get to a result like yesterday, right? And you might want to consider, going for the 90-day accelerator program, which is a done with you option. That's something that has a 90-day do a deal guarantee. And if you don't close a deal in 90 days, we'll continue to work with you for free until you do. And guess what? If you do, like I said before, one of my last lives here, which got kind of messed up, we talked about the fact that if you close a deal, that's going to be your ticket. If you're willing to do a testimonial for us, that you close the deal to stay in that group forever. Okay. So that's a great option. And we have a lot of clients really excited about that are making things happen. So that's an option. But if you're like, well, coaching is great and I want to maybe do that, but I also want to get this thing done for me, get a result as soon as possible and get a reliable system built out. That's where you say, hey, I'd like to talk about one of those 3 positions that you have available, Doug, to go out there and build out my system and build out my marketing process to go get deals, analyze deals, negotiate stuff, get into conversations, and ultimately close deals. So if that's of interest, again, reach out to us. It's a lot of different pieces of it that I can break down for you specifically. But like I said, I'm also working with some of the most experienced guys and gals I know that have a lot of experience, but they don't have a system yet, which is so crazy, right? Because they're getting experience from just doing it themselves or doing it with a coaching group or doing it over time. But they don't have a system built out. And guess what? My background happens to be in systems and technology and negotiation. So that's why you might get some of that with me if you talk on these lives with me. You're here with us now, listening to this message. Whenever you listen to it, the done for you option is literally you saying, hey, I want to generate this kind of lead. I want to do this kind of thing. Help us create a system, meaning you as a client, to go create that deal for you. And then we go out and build the system. And that's a pretty cool thing. But it does take, like I said, some significant commitment financially for you. So that's something to consider. But check it out. The 90-day accelerator, I'm not going to tell you exactly the numbers, but it's not as significant as a done for you by any means. That's like next level. But if you just want to get a result, then go for the done for you. If you want to go work on this yourself for the next couple months and beyond and have us support you every single week, almost every single day, we're probably going to have a meeting every day again soon, like Monday through Friday, working on the schedule right now to revamp some things. Right now we have multiple opportunities to meet with myself or one of my coaches that's hand selected to be with us every single week, every single day almost at this point, but will be every day, Monday through Friday. So if you want that kind of support, with or without the done for you, then obviously you could reach out, type the word ready, or send me a DM that says ready. And I know that you're ready to talk about the 90-day accelerator program. So that's what I had to say today. I hope you guys got some value from our analysis conversation earlier. Go ahead and check that video out. It was intended to be one long video, but for whatever reason, Facebook haven't figured out how to use that right yet. So I'll figure that out for next week. And we'll get back at it. But until then, have a great rest of your day. God bless you guys. Have an awesome weekend, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye-bye.